Nothing fancy. Don't try to be a Buddha. Oh, please. Please. That would be like Freud trying to be a psychiatrist. He didn't make it. He just couldn't get it. If you were one of Freud's patients, you're in a world of trouble. Because Freud hadn't overcome his first lines of code. You can't just work with the recent lines of code and think you're going to get clear. You have to go all the way back. And the way you go all the way back is sitting quietly without trying and allowing the suffering and the joy to come, even if it's rapid succession, not to hold to either one. And our life is rapid succession. You can look at it from further back. A whole life is rapid succession, and dying is rapid succession. I think maybe it slows down a little after that. It seems that way. But so I think what we've learned is how hard it is to just be. We're not having a lot of difficulty from the illness in some ways because it's cyclic, and sometimes I can't even walk, and other times I can walk and go out in the yard. Sometimes Ondrea is quite ill, and sometimes she isn't. It's cyclic, and it will be cyclic until it gets to advanced stages in both of us. So right now we are very much enjoying just being alive and just remembering how much compassion it takes for ourselves, how much we all, I remember Tartam Tulku came to my house, well, it's many, many years ago, maybe almost 50 years ago. And he wanted to do some publishing, and I was trying to show him, because we had a small Dharmic press then. We published Joseph and Jack's book and such. And we were about to sit down to eat, and we were having chicken, and I was hesitant to offer him the chicken. And he said, "You're not going to feed me?" I said, "Oh, sure, but we didn't want to give you a chicken. I mean, you're a lama. You're actually a tulku. I didn't want to give you..." He said, "I do chicken big favor. I eat chicken, I turn chicken into llama." And I thought, that's very cute. And then I asked him, well, some people are so involved in concentration that they can lose their step and just get lost in concentration. They can actually have too much concentration. And he said, "I don't know anyone who suffers from too much concentration." In the same way, I don't know anyone who suffers from too much compassion. I don't know anyone whose compassion is getting in their way, as long as there's still a recognition that compassion is mind and heart. That heart is a level of mind, not something other than the mind. Heart is a level of mind, a very quiet level of mind. And when we complain about mind, we're complaining about a superfice, something on the surface, waves, not the aquatic miracles that are in our mind as a heart.
I think, too, that I would say to people, and probably most of the audience would already know it, don't wait until you have a diagnosis to finish your business, to forgive people, to write letters to people that you may not want to see, but you still have some unfinished business with. Because once you're sick, as Stephen said, your energy is up and down, and it's not always there for you to deal with the strong emotional backlash of things that are unsaid or unfinished. So I think that's really important. You don't have to see anyone, you don't have to call anyone, but write them a letter. You don't even have to send the letter. You're doing it for yourself, because if you have anyone that you don't forgive, then you won't forgive yourself. Because the mind doesn't know the difference between itself and someone else. So if you don't forgive yourself, it doesn't matter. You will never forgive anyone else. So you must work with and I say must loosely, not to use the word must or should, but for your own skillful healing. And as we believe, healing is much more than a body, So to please finish your business before you get sick, because that's the time you really want to go in and reflect and start to the deeper letting go practice, because once you've got that label, this body is going to go. Yeah. Timing, who knows? Mm-hmm. But it's going to go. The doctors are very happy to tell you it's going to go. And don't believe the doctors either. They're not I was going to say God. No God. They don't know.
They aren't no God either.
Yeah, they're us with a lot more education, but it doesn't mean that they're right. So when a doctor gives you, if a doctor is the type to give you a date, I would say that in the thousands and thousands of people we worked with, I couldn't even count on one hand how many people died when the doctor told them to. Yeah. So it's a wake-up call to get a label. But then the wake-up is for you to practice more, to get quieter, to see who you aren't. You know, we already know who we are.
Who we think we are.
Yeah, who we think we are, exactly.
For a long time in our workshops, we spoke of how when you really love someone, you may wish that they would die first. And people used to be aghast. I mean, it's a very romantic comment. The truth is that you do wish the other person dies first. I would not want to die and leave Ondrea alone to have to fend for herself, even though she'd have a myriad of help. I wouldn't want to... One who is ill, you really want to be with them. You say, I'll go through that. I'll go through taking care of you while you die. I'm willing not to be taken care of while I die. And both of us feel the same thing, which is extraordinary. It's like, are we each wishing the other one were dead? Now, just a second here. I mean, it's a little bizarre. But I really do wish I could stay alive long enough for her to be able to die in my arms, and she feels the same thing. It shows what's true is true on every level. And this remains, that truth, that idea that we had about the other person, that's something we learned from, did you have some correction? I'm sorry, our familiar says, what did you say?
We've locked everyone else out.
He said, keep it down, I'm trying to sleep.
Sorry, we couldn't lock the rest out.
And what's true is true on every level if it's true. And it's really fascinating to see how much these things are become what were concepts and ideas, really, which a lot of that was learned from AIDS patients who were just struggling. They 8th time in the hospital, 2 weeks in the hospital and back, each one, both with AIDS, struggling to stay alive so they can help the other one. And as soon as the other one dies, they're dead within weeks because they're holding so much to the heart energy that cares for another more than themselves. And when you get close to that energy, that's one of the wonderful things that illness and aging too can bring to us, is just a deeper sense of being more concerned for another than ourselves. It's about time. It's all about time.
But this has been our running, because we don't fight. We don't always agree at first, but we always eventually agree. But it's been our running thing now for the last almost 30 years, saying no, because I feel like he should go first, because I still have this.
You can walk.
I can walk, that's it.
We can flip a coin.
That's true. But since I can walk...
They make them with a motor on them.
Okay, there goes
Been chasing the animals all over the house.
Well, maybe we should go at the same time. That would be fair.
That'd be good.
That would be fair.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And so we'll say goodbye.